Welcome to my channel. Today we will tell you the shocking truth about medieval Queen's wedding night. Do you want to know what really happened on the wedding night of Queen Elizabeth and King Philip? What were the surprising facts that no one knew about Henry VIII's wedding night? Join us today in this video where we will discuss everything about the wedding night of powerful medieval queens. You'll be shocked after hearing these facts. Marie Antoinette was the last queen of France before the French Revolution. She became the most hated woman in France at that time, even though she had done nothing wrong. It was just her bad luck to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. When the revolution broke out, her husband, King Louis XVI, was beheaded by revolutionaries. And when it came Marie Antoinette's turn to die, she was only 37 years old. But people still wonder what really happened on her wedding night. Her wedding took place on May 14, 1770. She married her cousin, the future Louis XVI, who was only 15 years old at the time. Unlike other royal marriages in Europe, there was no political reason for this marriage. This was a true love marriage. Both Louis and Marie were in love with each other. Louis first laid eyes on Marie when he was just 7, and from that moment, he was totally smitten. The wedding night was full of surprises for the young bride and groom. The prince and princess were completely clueless about what was going to happen on their wedding night. No clue at all. So when the princess entered the room, both of them were quite nervous. But soon, the prince and princess forgot all their tensions and worries and immersed themselves in the joy of being close to each other. When Catherine of Aragon arrived in England in 1501, she was certain that she was going to marry Prince Arthur, the heir to the throne. But on the eve of their wedding, Arthur died, leaving Catherine without a husband and King Henry VIII, recently 18 at the time, as the new heir to the throne. Despite the fact that the wedding never took place, Catherine was asked to change into a wedding gown and lie in a wedding bed with two men who were supposed to be her wedding night. One of them was a nobleman, Sir John Paston, while the other was a close friend of the king, Sir Reginald Bray. Both men were not pleased to have been summoned for the wedding night, but they had no choice. Catherine has been portrayed as an innocent girl who resisted the advances of the two men that night. According to some sources, Catherine did not cooperate and was even hysterical when the men touched her. Sir John Paston tried to console her, but Catherine wanted to remain a virgin until her marriage with the king. However, according to some historians, the two men were successful in seducing Catherine, which is why she miscarried shortly after giving birth to her daughter, Mary Tudor. In the end, Catherine was sent back to Spain because King Henry wanted to marry another woman, Anne Boleyn. Isabella of Castile and Ferdinand of Aragon were two of the most influential monarchs of medieval Spain. Together, they ruled over the Iberian Peninsula. They got married in 1469 at that time. Isabella was only 18 years old, while Ferdinand was 26. Their marriage was rife with suspicion and distrust in their historic country. They were also very stubborn and never compromised. Even on their wedding night, they argued a lot. Isabella refused to accept Ferdinand's advances. As a result, Ferdinand spent the entire wedding night alone in his room. He was so angry that he wrote a letter to his brother and told him how his wife was ruining his life. In the letter, he said, "I am so angry that I can't write or speak. I have never in my life been so offended, nor do I know how I am ever to be appeased." He also told his brother that Isabella was deliberately ignoring him, and that he couldn't touch her. When his brother replied asking him to be nice to Isabella, Ferdinand got furious and said, "You are quite out of your senses if you think that I am going to put up with this humiliation. I shall go to Granada and conquer all of Spain rather than submit to such dishonor." Ferdinand kept writing letters to his family and friends, complaining about how his wife wasn't accepting him. On the other hand, Isabella was crying to her ladies-in-waiting, saying that her husband was behaving like a beast. Both the prince and princess cried throughout their wedding night. No one knew what would have happened if their marriage had not been consummated. But luckily, in the morning, the princess and the prince decided to resolve their differences and became a happy couple. While we know that Henry VIII had 6 wives, most people forget that he also had a number of mistresses before he married Anne Boleyn. When Henry returned from a hunting trip in 1522, he found a mysterious lady in his chambers named Elizabeth Blount. People believed that Elizabeth was Henry's mistress, but no one knows for sure. When Elizabeth realized that she was pregnant, she was summoned to Hampton Court Palace, where Henry's sister, Queen Mary, forced her to marry a courtier. Charles Brandon, so that the baby could inherit the throne. The child born from this union was Henry Fitz, the illegitimate son of King Henry VIII. According to reports, Henry had given Elizabeth an annuity of 1,000 marks and had even gifted her the manor of West Wickham. Some historians say that Henry kept Elizabeth as his mistress for several years before marrying, and we don't know what exactly happened between them on their wedding night, but rumors say that Henry had an intimate relationship with Elizabeth on that night. Anne Boleyn is one of the most famous women in history. After breaking away from the Roman Catholic Church, King Henry VIII of England had divorced his wife, Catherine of Aragon, so that he could marry Anne. Their marriage took place on January 25, 1533. There is very little documentation about what happened on their wedding night, but some historians say that the wedding night was used by the king to take revenge on Anne. Before the wedding, Anne was sure that the king was in love with her and that he would treat her well. But after the ceremony, when she entered the bedroom, she found a very different Henry. He was drunk and misbehaved with her. Some historians say that he raped her that night. This version of events is supported by a letter written by an Ida Chapais, the imperial ambassador, where she said, "If you were to tell the king tomorrow that I had spoken against him, he would believe you on the instant. Whereas if the same person were to tell him that his wife had done him wrong, he would not believe it, although it were as clear as the sun in the sky." Unfortunately, Anne lost the favor of the king after she failed to produce a male heir. She was charged with adultery and treason and was finally executed on May 19, 1536. Eleanor of Aquitaine was the first wife of King Henry II of England. She was a strong, intelligent, and independent woman. While Eleanor was the Queen of England, she took control of the government and administered justice. She traveled around the country, meeting with nobles and commoners alike. Eleanor was a patron of the arts and learning, and she hosted many writers and intellectuals at her court. In addition to her role as queen, Eleanor was also a mother. She had 2 sons with Henry, William, and Henry. Sadly, both sons died before Henry II, leaving Richard and John as the only surviving legitimate children of Henry and Eleanor. As the mother of the heir apparent, Eleanor's role in court was even more important. She acted as a surrogate for her husband when he was away on crusade or in France. Eleanor was also a devout Christian and a patron of the church. She founded several monasteries and hospitals, and she donated generously to the poor. Eleanor of Aquitaine's contributions to medieval England cannot be overstated. She was a queen, a mother, a patron of the arts and learning, and a devout Christian. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more amazing videos about medieval queens.